As a writer, I'm like a nice person and I'm like, oh, thanks for giving me anything. You want to give me money for my writing? My agent is like, we do not accept this. I would cut off my left hand to get a publishing contract, you know? So good.
Are we living 1984? I think we are.
Yeah, we are. If the pacing drags, they're not okay with it. And I roast them a little bit and say, oh, you guys have TikTok brain and so forth. But I also agree with them. And I think that's where in grad school, a lot of us started to go astray in that we would be reading like really almost self-indulgently slow paced, like literature is so quote unquote important.
I'm trying to make nice with Skynet.
Yes, exactly.
I'm always very polite to my chat GPT. You never know. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be, wherever you are. This is the Emerging Artist Podcast. I'm Scott Markowitz, and in a moment we're going to hear the remainder of our interview between James Zwerneman, myself, and my co-host Shiree Nicole. And we're going to be talking about James's upcoming novel called Uruk. Of course, by the time you're listening to this, it's probably going to be on the bookshelves and you'll be able to go grab it and read it. And this is the second part of our interview with James, talking more about the publishing and business side of this endeavor. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the artistic process, then you might want to go back and listen to part one. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And without further ado, let's jump right back into our interview with James Zwerneman.
How are you, James?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you for having me, guys.
So full disclosure, James is my next door neighbor.
Yes. Sometimes he'll be walking the dogs and I'll be walking and trying to burn some calories.
Which, that's wonderful.
Isn't that crazy? What's the next step for the book? Is there going to be a round of promotional events, or how does the publisher help distribute the book? How much responsibility do you have versus the publisher?
That's a great question. I actually do not know because this is my first time doing it, and definitely doing it with this publisher. We just had a meeting with some of the salespeople who is really cool to talk to them. But in this, I know absolutely nothing. We're talking about, oh, could we write some articles here or there that might be a window for readers in different bubbles to get access to you and maybe get interested in you, book signings and this and that. But I gotta say, maybe I'll get back to you guys. Still figuring that one out.
Yeah, keep us posted. We'll try to help you and promote it as best we can.
Yes, thanks, guys.
If you don't mind, if I ask about, I don't understand the business end of being an author. So you apparently start out with a contract with them. Does that usually go for like X amount of a certain amount of books that are published? Are you nationwide? Is it global?
Yeah, so usually most writers who wanted to be traditionally published, because there's self-publishing, which is a whole other thing. It's named Wiggins Press, actually, after Wiggins Beach.
Oh, that's
cool.
cool. Mm-hmm. Now, could you publish this book through that too?
So I could have, but the Wiggins Press thing was really good for what it was, especially for the scale that we were doing it at. But my dream had always been to try the traditional publishing route. And I know some people, especially now in the modern age, have strong feelings this way or that way. But for me, I wanted to try it this route. And so if you're going to do traditional publishing, you need an agent probably, because agents are the gatekeepers.
Okay.
A few places will allow you to send to the slush pile. So luckily, I sent to the slush pile of agents, and I got an amazing agent. I couldn't ask for a better agent. Once he signed with me, we submitted it to a range of publishers that he had in mind, and then Diversion was the one that we decided to go with. We got a contract with them. My agent negotiated back and forth, which is great because I don't know anything about that. It was cool to see his negotiation style too, because he's really good at what he does. As a writer, I'm like a nice person, and I'm like, oh, thanks for giving me anything. You want to give me money for my writing? My agent is like, we do not accept this. So I'm like, that's great. And then we signed a 2-book deal, which they gave us an advance for, and it's a certain amount, and then hopefully once the books sell and I make a certain percentage on each copy sold, and once it hits that advance level, then it would start to make me royalties after that. Let's say that my book never sold a single copy, then I would still get to keep the advance. This is like a standard way that works now.
Okay.
And back in the ancient times, I don't think that they did advances as frequently. Now pretty much everyone gets an advance to some degree, and they can be small or they can be huge. And there's advantages to having smaller advances, and there's advantages to having bigger ones. Like, if you get a huge advance and then you don't make back your advance, you could sell a lot of copies, but then they could look at you as not a successful investment potentially. But you also do sell, like, what are the foreign rights, and what are the audio rights, and what are the film rights? Those are all things that are negotiated. So luckily for us, and one piece of it was in this one that the publisher took some responsibility in the audiobook rights. And so we just found out that we just sold the audiobook rights to somebody, which is cool.
Oh, so that's a separate...
Yeah, it's a separate thing.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So now some publishers would do it together. They'd be like, all right, we have an audiobook. Sometimes it's separate. And then like film can be part of the contract or it cannot be.
I did not realize that.
Well, they don't get involved, but sometimes they want the rights and then they'll like sell the rights.
Oh, I see.
But then you usually get less. But again, this is definitely not my expertise. This is why.
So as you become a more well-known author, do the scales lean more in your favor? Like
absolutely. And to go back to that comment about the person who suggested to put more racism into the story, to be fair to that person, they were making a well-intentioned comment because they were saying, and essentially the truth was what I was trying to promote at that time wasn't good enough in and of itself. It was like, okay, it wasn't good enough. And so she was just trying to suggest, how can we sell this thing that's not necessarily as competitive? What were we just talking about before that?
Well, we were talking about the movie rights before that, and we were talking about...
Oh, you're talking about, yes. Do you get more clout when you get more successful? Definitely. And if you have a bidding war of 10 publishers who all want your book,
well, that's a good thing.
That would be a great thing.
Now, are you given a specific time frame that they expect the book to be completed?
And that is one of the most interesting things that's happened, because when we're all starving writers in grad school, we're like, I would cut off my left hand to get a publishing contract, you know? But I just talked with a friend from that program, and now she's a successful writer, and she's gotten, I think, 3 or 4 books out, and they're like bestsellers and stuff. And it was really cool to see her go from being a waitress who's like, James, I hate writing, to now being very successful. But when I hung out with her last this summer, she was like, I wish I didn't take that latest contract, because now I have to keep working, and I want to do nothing right now. And the book that is the sequel to Uruk, I have to turn in the first draft in November. So Uruk is coming out in November, and then I'm turning in the sequel manuscript in November. So that's put the pressure on to try to... I've never finished a book in a year. But I think we talked about this when you were walking your dogs. Yeah. The pressure is pushing me to go the extra mile, and I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it, first of all.
That's not the thing.
But yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think the constraint in this case has actually helped. It helped me to chop off 200 extra pages I was thinking about writing. I'm like, nope, let's condense this thing. Let's save that for another book.
Ah, okay. When you work inside constraints, a lot of times it does work out in your favor. That is true.
Where an author is given that, and they wait till the week before their time is up, and then they're just working like crazy. That's not going to be you, though, right?
No, it's not going to be me. I couldn't do it. I know how bad my first drafts are, so when I turn it in November, it's going to be hopefully a 4th draft or a 5th draft.
Nice.
So you also are a local teacher. What grade do you teach, and what are you teaching?
Yeah, I got to say, I absolutely, and I never thought I would say this, because I did get to teach college classes at UC Irvine, which was really fun. But I never thought I would want to teach high school. I teach mostly seniors, literature, modern literature, so books like 1984 or Crime and Punishment.
I love 1984.
Oh, so good.
Are we living 1984? I think we are.
Yeah,
we are. Also, such an entertaining book.
Yeah.
1984. So well written, like perfectly written.
Yes.
And then I get to teach 2 film classes.
Oh, is that right?
Unbelievable.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I teach film studies. We do Jurassic Park, we Lawrence of Arabia, Jaws.
Oh, cool.
Black and white films, which I got to honor my last class, freshmen through seniors. They raised their hand and said, Mr. Z, could we watch more black and white movies? And I was like, guys, this is the first class that's ever said that to me. This is great.
I love black and whites.
Well, here's a question for you guys. Casablanca, what do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Oh, absolutely. That's a classic.
The lighting.
I was just going to say, every single light placement is just so perfect. Yeah.
It's great. You know what I've noticed is, because it's cool to have a test audience. I have a test audience of like 30 students. So I show them all these films, and a lot of the films I haven't seen, but some of them they haven't seen, like Wes Anderson films. Do you guys like Wes Anderson?
I'm not a fan of Wes Anderson.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Or Miyazaki, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Studio Ghibli stuff. They'll put up with almost anything, especially since it's school. But they do not like slow pacing. If the pacing drags, they're not okay with it. And I roast them a little bit and say, oh, you guys have TikTok brain and so forth. But I also agree with them. And I think that's where in grad school, a lot of us started to go astray in that we would be reading like really almost self-indulgently slow paced. Like literature is so quote unquote important. And again, it is, I love literature, that it gives itself the right to take a long time. And it's like, it forgets that also entertaining is important.
So curious, have you ever shown your students Citizen Kane? And what do they think of that?
I haven't shown him Citizen Kane yet because I was afraid of the pacing issue.
I was just going to ask. I think that despite its pacing, he pulled it off.
Yeah, I need to rewatch. I think the second time I watched it, I liked it a lot more. The first time I watched it, I did not like it. I thought it was boring. I did not have good taste in high school.
That's interesting. Because the thing that I love about that film is that it really set in stone the language of camera placement and the lens choices and things like that. And even though the shots are pretty long by today's standards, I can really appreciate the use of that in telling the story because there's so much thoughtfulness in it. And I can spend some of my own internal clock time on deciphering that.
I wonder, maybe this is the year to my film class. Actually, if you guys could pick one film that you would recommend that I show to my film class, what would you pick? The only constraint is so far PG-13. If there was one, we'd get a waiver, but right now PG-13 and down.
PG-13 and down.
Yeah, and we've shown everything. We've shown, of course, Lawrence of Arabia, which for the same reason you just said, like those shots are just, it's so poetic. So, and the writing is amazing. But they do think that one's boring, some of them. I show Pirates of the Caribbean, because that's a good movie for all kinds of reasons.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dreamscape.
Dreamscape. Never seen it.
It's I only say that because I think that your students would really enjoy it. There is a lot to unpack in that film.
Cool. I'll have to watch it.
I have a really old-time favorite since I was a teenager, black and white, Ninotchka.
Never heard of it.
I never heard of that.
I'm writing these down.
Is that a Russian film?
No, but it is supposed to be placed in Russia.
So it's depressing.
It actually...
Just guessing.
No, it's not depressing. There's romance. This Russian woman is sent over. Actually, first it begins with three guys that are sent over to France, basically as spies.
Okay.
And they're kind of like the Three Stooges. So there's some comedy with it. They get over to France and they're whining and dining and spending all this money, the Russian people's money, and making friends with everybody, but not really doing their job. So then I'll have to figure, I can't remember who the actress is, but I loved her. And so she's sent over basically as the heavy to investigate these three and all the money being spent, but she ends up falling in love. And then she ends up going whining and dining and dressing up, and it's in black and white, but it's got humor. It's got a little bit of everything.
The thing I love about Russian films is that there's that Russian sensibility, there's the Russian accents, there's the Russian scenery, and everybody wears Russian dressing. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Did you make that one up yourself?
Just
Yeah,
thought.
hot. Okay. Oh, jeez.
And the conversation dies.
No.
Yeah. Dun, dun.
So what's next? You've got the second installment of the series. If it's going to work out for the publisher, do you think that they'll want to commission a third one in this series? Do you have a third one already planned in your head?
Yeah. I'm really curious to see how it lands because I've never had I have had a short story published before, and then the children's books, which people really like the children's books.
Yeah.
But I've never had like a novel out there, so I'm really curious the response. Obviously, I think if they sold a lot of copies, the publisher would want to do more. Michael Connelly, he's the crime writer, he says that about crime writing. He says, I feel that I can do everything I want as an artist in this universe that I've created. And I feel that is true with this universe I've created. And I feel like if people like them, then I would be excited to keep writing in this world. And I have a lot more things I'd like to explore. And when I read through the whole book in one day, for the first time, I suddenly saw that what the covers of the next 4 books would look like.
Oh my gosh.
I got the titles, I got the covers, I got basically the idea of this core 4, kind of like the Aragon series, this core 4 books, and then After that, a whole bunch of other books that would explore different esoteric corners in this world. And
cool.
that was just it was so fun to just imagine, because I really like this cover.
Yeah.
Alan Dingman is a really cool designer. He did it. This would be reddish orangish. The next one will be like dark purplish, bad guys resurge. The third one will be blue, lapis lazuli blue. And then the fourth one will be Mesopotamian swampland green.
Oh, that's cool.
But we'll see.
At the end of the show, we'll definitely let people know how they can get their copy.
Thanks, Sam.
And we have about 10 more minutes. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you would interpret your process, like how you have been able to advance your process and how you think that might translate to other artists and other mediums.
Yeah. I was thinking about process on the way here. I feel like the two best tips I have for process for writers, the first one would be learn story structure. I went into grad school just having a very loose grasp on story structure and feeling of a lot of my buddies like, this is a formula, don't follow the formula. But now my opinion is very strongly that just like a molecule has certain elements, and if it doesn't have an element, it's not that molecule. It might be something else, but it's not that molecule. So if you're writing a novel or you're telling a story, it's going to have certain elements that need to be fulfilled. Otherwise, subconsciously, the audience will feel that lack, and they will either be dissatisfied or something. And knowing story structure then can be like, oh, I've created this thing. Now this is what I'm missing. This is what I'm missing. You can go fill that in. I wasted a lot in writing a novel. I mean, you get into the middle, you're lost. And then you end up chopping those pages. So story structure would be good, not to impose, but to help and empower. And then secondly would be understanding phases. So I would be writing my first phase and it would be terrible and I would be filled with self-loathing. And now I'm able to do the thing and it's still not good yet, but I understand that it's going to be good when it gets to phase 6. So it's like faith and hope, but also understanding things come in stages. And when I'm suffering the pain of the third phase, I understand a little bit better, this is what that pain feels like. This is third phase pain. I've already done phase 1 and 2 work. And then when I get to 4th and 5th, there'll be those kinds of pain. But to suffer each pain at its allotted time, not all of them together.
Right.
If that makes sense. Does it make
That
any
does
sense?
make sense.
It makes perfect
That makes perfect sense. I think that goes universally for many of the arts is you got to know the basics. You got to know the fundamentals. For painting, you got to know how contrast works, how colors work. And for film, you got to learn how light is something that you can reflect off of things and bounce into your lens, right? So it's the fundamentals that are always critical in the success or failure of any given project.
I agree. And then keep moving forward in that process, having faith that you've already done this, you know it works, living through the pain, knowing that
right.
The end result is going to turn out, not question your process. Yeah, but certain elements have to be the way they have to be in order for them to be successful.
Yeah.
For me, it's like if I'm doing an actual painting, it's all about, I want balance. And so balance in texture, balance in color, all those things have to come together. And sometimes it takes me a little bit to figure that out, but I'll eventually get there.
Yeah.
And trust it. You can sometimes need to walk away from it for
Right.
a bit and regroup and get inspired by something and then come back to it.
Yeah, it's the fundamentals at an elevated level, right? Because there's the basic understanding that people have from their elementary and high school education. There's a fundamental understanding of what literature should be about, but then there's the elevated and higher understanding of what it is. And that's, as a professional, you want to operate from as high of a level of the fundamentals as you can. A lot of times people will ask me, how do I make my film look more cinematic? And that's a big theme. Like if you go on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, they're always how to get the most cinematic shots. And the answer is actually very simple. Just don't put the light behind you as the filmmaker. If the light's in front of you as a filmmaker, it's going to look cinematic. Period.
Interesting. Yeah,
It's very simple.
Okay.
Cool.
But so it's fascinating to me that there's hundreds of things as you're scrolling by. Do this to make it look cinematic. Do that, and like I'm looking at it, and it's not cinematic.
If they just listen to this podcast, then they'll know.
know.
There you go. So what's the big elevated tip you would give for somebody who wants to write better?
Great question. 2 things. 1, just go back and read the things that made you fall in love with writing in the first place.
it.
I like
read
that
those
too.
over and over because you need a model to. You're not going to be the same, but. And so that's what I'm doing this summer is I'm rereading Jurassic Park. Just reread that. I'm rereading the Redwall series with the fighting mice.
Oh.
I'm rereading The Killer Angels, which is my favorite Civil War book. And I'm reading a bunch of stuff like that. So that's the first one. The second one is get good at scenes, understand the shape of scenes and the balance of scenes, because it's easy to overload in the wrong area on a scene and kill the pacing. And then get good at paragraphs. I think that paragraphs are where it's at, just at the sentence level, like this sentence. Now, I could be wrong because some of my UCI friends are really good at the sentence level, and it's so exciting to read. I don't even care if there's a paragraph or a page break or anything. Like, their sentences are so compelling. But if that's not you, get good at paragraphs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
AI or not AI?
I'm scared of AI. I do not understand it.
I'm right there with you.
I started asking it more questions.
I don't ask it any question.
Oh, I'll put a good word for you.
No, don't mention my name.
I'm trying to make nice with Skynet.
Yes, exactly.
I'm always very polite to my chat GPT. You never know.
I don't know. What about you guys? I don't know what's coming with AI for fiction writing. It's possible. Who knows? But what do you guys think?
I think it's a useful tool for an artist to have handy, but it's certainly disingenuous to think that AI should be creating art for people.
Oh, that kind of makes me sad.
Well,
People should create art.
That's exactly what I'm saying. AI should not be creating art for people. AI should be maybe helping artists get inspired.
But there's probably already that going on.
There's tons
yeah,
of it,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that on the way here, and I was thinking like, okay, even if AI gets to the level, which everybody says apparently it will, where it can produce these awesome pieces of art, let's say novels, it's producing good novels, there'd still be room for a Hemingway. There's a great AI book over here, but this Hemingway book is awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's true, but there has been some backlash amongst us meatbags against the AI art. I know that there's musicians that are all AI generated, and there's a big backlash amongst the musician community and also the music listening community against, once they learn that it's an AI artist, they'll resist it. And there's been like a lot of very negative feedback towards the publishers of that work promoting it. So I do think that there's a hunger and a meaningful reason why people seek out art, and it's for that human connection to begin with. And so I think like our best hope as artists is that there's transparency in what is AI generated and what's not, so that we as art consumers can choose the things that inspire us.
Yeah, transparency. Right? Yeah. So it's already getting hard to tell.
It is getting hard. Some of the big companies are trying to get ahead of that. Adobe is trying to build in metadata to make sure that you can understand what's generated by AI and what's not. But yeah, ultimately, it's going to be up to us.
Maybe the AI will kill us before it starts creating better art than us. So maybe we'll be okay.
And maybe our eternal souls can come back like in a robotic body. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works, but
I'm sorry. Well, I don't know what to say, so I just don't say anything.
All right. Well, James, tell us how we can find your book for one, and then if there's a way that people can get in touch with you if they want to reach out.
So the book's on Barnes & Noble and Amazon and a couple other places. So if you just type in Uruk and then my name.
Maybe spell it out.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So James Zwerneman, James, Z is in zebra, Werneman, Zwerneman. And then you type in Uruk, then it'll show up on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Simon, all these other places. And then I have a website, which is just my name, jameszwerneman.com. And if they want to contact me, the best place to go is wigginspress.com, because then it has a contact form. And then anything addressed to me will come to me through that.
Oh, perfect. And the book is spelled U-R-U-K.
U-R-U-k.
All right.
Yeah.
You're okay, too.
Wow. Oh, boy. I
had that.
Oh, boy. I set myself up for that one.
Step right into that one.
All right. And are you going to have a local book signing?
Hopefully. I think they're really beautiful at Barnes & Noble's. The publisher's going to talk to them and see if we can get in there. And maybe some local spots, too.
That'd be wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James.
Thank
This is
you.
really
This
fun.
has been
Yeah,
great.
this was
Thanks,
amazing.
guys.
Really enjoyed it.
Me too.
I learned a lot, though, that I didn't know.
Definitely.
Nice.
We've learned a lot today. So, guys, thank you for listening. And until next time, rock on.